Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 206, Lamar, Bad CGI Gator.
I mean, at this point, I try to give reference to what the movie is, but I think the title kind of gives it away. So, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we have a gator, it's not rendered that, well, but there's terror that ensues.
Well,
Yeah.
we did see a movie at one point in our history called Bad CGI Shark, but as far as we know, this has no relation, none of the same people making it or whatever.
Yes, because this is Full Moon,
Okay.
and that was a
Yep.
completely different group of people. And I have a question for you
Okay.
after we review this.
All right. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's get into it then. Our first category, as usual, what do we think of the story?
Boy, oh boy. What are the youngsters that everybody is annoyed by? Gen Zers. They go out to the south of Georgia to an abandoned, well, not abandoned. It's just out in the kind of like the swamplands, house, and they're going out there from some spring break partying, bro. Yeah. Unbeknownst to them, there's a little gator not rendered that well. And through one of them, we'll call her an influencer, she has the brilliant idea to throw their laptops into the lake where this gator is, and that makes the gator grow, and that makes the gator want to eat them while they're trying to party and everything like that. And so that's how you have Bad CGI Gator.
Yeah. Well, other than the fact that it's a group of annoying youngsters, I did enjoy the story. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
It was shot well, for what it was. And so I'm going to give it 1 point for story.
Yeah,
I had a good time.
This is probably going to be the theme of the show. They knew what they were shooting for.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because the next category, Joe, we're
Okay. The next category is always, as usual, characters.
I think, and this is going to come into a later category, is that maybe these characters are representing how annoying some Gen Z people can be, because they say very specific words, because they have not really characters, but archetypes. You have the TikTok influencer, the girl. You have the alpha male. Basically what they would call a Chad, right? Like, he's very chiseled and everything. You have his best friend, and you have another girl that's not really an influencer, but she's I wouldn't say promiscuous. She's just, very sexual. Yes. So they were
the nerdy guy that's awkward.
You got the nerdy guy. Yeah, and then you have the outcast girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I guess they were good characters. I guess it was over the top, supposed to be. But once again, everyone is doing what they're supposed to do for this, what they were going for, Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give them 1 point again.
1 point, yeah. They're following theme, Joe.
Yeah, and part of that theme, Lamar, is our next category, which is comedy/satire.
Definitely, because they do one of the most annoying things from this generation. They use inappropriate abbreviations for stuff.
Yeah.
They say things like dead AF. Why don't you just say the whole word?
Yeah. And just overall doing goofy things. Like, if you were trying to get away from a gator that's trying to kill you, like hiding behind a basketball post probably won't help.
The gator will see you. I guess I don't want to spoil this joke, but it kind of represents one of the characters. We mentioned before they throw their laptops in the lake, and then the same girl that had that idea was like, we should get some pics of us like cleaning up trash. And the other girl is like, oh, you mean after you threw your laptops into a lake? Basically, she's like, oh, that was different. I was like, yeah, it's the trend of being quote unquote woke. Basically, is represented in that character, that girl. Yeah.
So what do you rate it for comedy?
I'm giving it a 1, Joe. Yeah.
I'm going to have to agree. I did laugh quite a bit with this. It's silly, but it's supposed to be So I'm giving it 1 point. Yes.
Yes.
Well, our next category, Lamar, is the special effects, the CGI. Was it bad?
It was bad, but I'll say this. They told us it was going
Yeah.
to be bad. And then I think they had fun with it because if you have a bad CGI gator, I guess you don't have to follow the law of physics or science or anything like that because this gator could levitate.
Yeah.
It could jump onto roofs.
Yep.
It would what else? It didn't have some other powers or something like that it could
It
do, or
just
was
did a
that
lot
it?
of it did some random things, but that's the ones I noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So if you have a bad CGI gator and you acknowledge it, that's the rule. You can do whatever you want with the
would it
gator.
be more of a troll if they had called the movie Bad CGI Gator, but it had really awesome CGI?
I don't know, Joe. You might be hitting on a sequel there, Joe. It's like what would it be called? Uh, a little bit better CGI
I
gator or
just think it
something
would be
like that.
funny, to call your movie Bad CGI Gator and then go all out and have the best CGI Gator ever, just to confuse people.
Yeah, that might be the sequel, Joe. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
Well, what do you give it for effects, Lamar?
Oh, I'm giving it a one.
Yeah.
You can't fault them for
No,
saying,
no.
yeah, what are you gonna do? Oh, it sucks. Well, they said it.
I almost feel like it might have been not bad enough, but I'm still giving it a 1.
Ooh, picky, picky, picky.
Well, something I'm not picky about, Lamar, which is our next category, which is how do we rate the T and A of the movie?
I mean, it really is more satire. It's talking about nature, and the most natural thing you can do is have a topless woman. So evidently, she was representing how you want to say the naturalness of nature by being very natural herself.
Okay. Well, if not natural, it's the most full moon features thing to do. So
Yes,
for that, I
yes,
once again give it 1 point.
I agree. 1 point. Yeah.
Well, Lamar, we've tallied the score here, and this movie got a perfect 5 out of 5. It's silly fun.
Yeah, and it's following the format of 1 hour,
Yeah.
and I think that's going to be something we see more with maybe more streaming smaller horror movies, and I think honestly you can get more out of that rather than trying to go for 80 minutes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
this is an interesting trend. I'm here for it. Now, Joe, if you recall, we had a showdown with a bunch of shark movies.
We did.
And we disagreed on bad CGI sharks.
We
You
did.
thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I
I thought it
did.
was dumb. Now, which one is better? Was bad CGI sharks better or was this one better? Which one would you choose?
Okay. Well, it's been a while since we've seen that movie. And by the
True.
way, Bad CGI Sharks won our very first Shark Week showdown.
It did. It
I'm
did.
going to say, if I remember correctly, I like Bad CGI Shark better
Mm-hmm.
because the shark was completely out. Alligators can go on land. Sharks
True.
belong in water, but the shark in this film was just floating around and he would short out and show his CGI ness and all of that. So for that, it was more kind of outrageous to me.
Yes.
And just in general, I think that movie was more outrageous. So in my opinion, I still hold that one as the top of the bad CGI animal.
You hear that, full moon? You weren't bad enough.
I give my
Mm-mm-mm.
reason.
Eh, you
You
get
know,
you gave very good points. I can't argue them. Yeah.
what if the shark was to go back in time? And since gators, they both go back in time, the shark and the gator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they meet each other in a CGI animal showdown in the prehistoric era.
Hmm. Oh, that's it. I thought. I mean, yeah, sure. I thought you were going to say something like, "What if, like, to
I
stop the CGI gator, they
no,
went back in time with a bad
no.
CGI shark?"
They clash like Clash of Titans. And
Hmm.
the one that becomes victorious becomes the gold standard of CGI because it's in the past. So it's no longer bad CGI because it's the best.
That's so convoluted. It might work, Joe. Good Lord. Yes.
Well, does that wrap this up then, Lamar?
Yeah. Bad CGI gator. It's
Yeah,
a good watch
it's a
on
fun
full
hour.
moon.
A
Yeah,
fun,
it's an
quick
hour.
hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bad CGI Gator. Peace.
Deuces.
How's the gator go?
Sure. I don't know. Yep.